Good morning, Mr. Brown. Good
How's
morning,
everybody
Mr.
doing?
Brown. Who's that?
Good morning. How's it going, Paul?
That must be Mary. How are you today? Good
How's
morning,
everyone?
Background.
Gary and Steve Skalski and Jennifer. I said it 5 times to Kent, but he didn't hear me.
Kent, you can just acknowledge, did you get my voicemail from yesterday afternoon on your cell phone? You can just say yes or no. Thank you. That's all I want to know. Thank you.
Kent, are you in a pantry? Yes or no?
Am I on what?
Are you in your pantry?
I'm in my kitchen, my dining room.
Okay, that's awesome. I like the window.
I went home yesterday and I'm staying home today. So
Smart man.
Oh, Paul, come on. People don't even know what a pantry is. A pantry these days is like bigger than most people's living rooms. You know, what kind of aristocrat are you anyway?
Well, I mean, it's, there's the keeping room and there's the pantry and then there's the butler's pantry. And
Oh,
then
yes, the butler's
there's the
pantry.
silver closet and I'm a middle-class kid from the suburbs of Oxnard.
You're a long
Worked
way
in
from
service his whole life.
you're a
learned all
long
that
way
stuff.
from you're a long way from Oxnard. Trust me.
Oxnard. Colonia Chiquezique, man. It means in what? Like you gonna say something about it? It's a gang, by the way. All my elementary school chums.
Are we going down memory lane here now?
Apparently, there's nothing else to do except for looking at
We can play cards.
mail that depresses me.
Are you working or are you still on vacation? Because if you're
I'm
still on
supposed to be on
vacation,
vacation, but I've worked every day in some capacity. It's not a big deal. And then today I'm gonna because of the new restrictions, I'm going to the board meeting. And then there's a meeting at 6 that I have to attend. But no, yeah, I'm on vacation officially. It's nice.
I laughed when I was still the counselor at the high school and you get all the emails from the parents over the weekend or at night or whatever and expecting immediate response because they sent it to you, like why haven't you taken care of their child's schedule or fixed that grade or sent in those transcripts, kind of thing.
Right?
It's like, but it's a holiday or it's the weekend, so it just made me laugh.
And I take unusual days. Like if I don't take a lot. I haven't, especially since COVID, but I don't take a lot of days off in a row. Like when I used to go see my aunt, it was because I decided to finally put 2 weekends together that I hadn't taken weekends in forever. But Trish loves to. I had someone else who was worse about it, but Trish every now and then likes to write me and go, "The computer's off and it won't turn on." I'm like, "Okay, fix it." I don't know.
Smack it on the side of it,
Just do something. But I just because she misses me.
No.
But yeah, no, there are a lot of those things. And then because if you have different days off than other people, everybody thinks you should be around. And I get it. I mean, and also the job requires that kind of stuff. So I'm not worried about it. And like my friend Michelle is the same as I, like she's always worked all the time and I've always worked all the time. So it's not a big deal to me, but that's why she's the one that wrote, I take some vacations now, but I'm always available for emergencies and I'm always available for this and I'm always available for that. And I'm like, and bullshit, because every time she's here, every morning she's on her computer, as are my whole family, working in the mornings. So it is what it is.
It's just the way it is. Exactly.
That's how some of us were taught.
It doesn't stop when you're a volunteer and you don't get paid for it. I just want you to know that.
Especially what you took on. I did skip a lot of my volunteer meetings. I don't skip a lot of them. I did that this week, and normally I'd be getting ready for a giant party in the house today.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Normally it's a volunteer party.
We could Zoom it with 1,000 participants.
Oh, 21. Oh, that's sweet. I haven't seen it. I had an invitation to a wedding I missed. Almost. Yeah. But it's fascinating to see. And it's interesting to watch. Like, I pulled it down because a couple people I think got the wrong idea. But it's interesting to see different people's, where their boundaries lie, their work life balance, and then also whether or not they're workaholics or their work ethic altogether. I just find it fascinating, and I was reading stuff about our culture as Americans anyway, and how we look at that. And so I just wanted to see a polling, and it kind of fit the personalities of the people that were writing back, which I thought was interesting.
So in other words, when you were on vacation or while you're on vacation, you had too much time on your hands to start off on this tangent. And this is
I'm always on a tangent. Have you met me?
I haven't seen you in person for a while, that's for sure.
I know. And now I'm restricted from even
That's
anywhere.
right. Stay in your pantry. Oh, you're not in your pantry. You're in your.
No. Mine has a washer and dryer like the 50s. It was a tub room, I think, at one point. It was, they washed laundry and stuff. And then I'm sure they had to use it as a pantry because you need the space. And then they had a pantry that everybody called a butler's pantry behind me where the restroom is, but it was a user pantry. It was never a real butler's pantry. It was a usable. It had bins and things like, well, you've seen it, right? And it had bins in there and stuff. But it did make it good. Like if you had a maid of all work, that made the flow of the house really good. Or you could come in this room and not have to catch through all the other rooms, which was probably it's a really good layout, frankly. But it's great now. Different, new era. And I would be the butler, so
Morning, Steve. How's it going today?
Good. How are you?
Oh, not too bad.
You want to say good morning to everybody else or just to me, Gary?
Oh, everyone. Rise and shine, everyone. The sun's shining anyway. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Is the wind blowing hard up there?
It's not too bad this morning.
Yeah, the wind blew my sign down.
I noticed that. That's terrible.
We're going to get it fixed the right way once and for all.
Who was it that made your sign?
What's that?
Who was it that designed your sign or made it? Was it Zuni?
It's a guy who does all my artwork, and then he works with a guy that actually gets signs made.
Okay.
And so it's the same guy who did Rose Street Bed and Breakfast, my brewery, our Empire sign, and then the what is it, the Clear Creek Inn on 7th
Okay.
Street.
Yeah.
So he did all those signs.
Yeah, the wind up here lately has just been fierce. I'm surprised it hasn't ripped more things down.
So this is Amanda's meeting, right?
Yeah,
I think
I can handle it.
I think so.
Oh,
Morning, Amanda.
hi. Sorry, Taylor was having trouble getting on. Who's here?
I just tried to call Taylor, and so hopefully maybe she'll give me a call back on my cell and I can.
She texted me and asked me where the link was, and I told her I just sent it to her, so hopefully she gets it here.
Okay.
Jen, we need to do a roll call for this one?
Sure, we can. And
It's up
I don't
to
know,
you.
Mary's asking, do you guys want me to stream this on the web or not? I can, either way, I'm fine. I am streaming it because I normally do all the meetings, but it's up to you guys if you don't want me to, since they're interviews. I'm not sure.
My concern is that, is it appropriate if one candidate is able to hear and be available
Well,
to the information that the other one shares, and how would that
I don't think.
Yeah, that was
impact?
a question that Katie had yesterday about what time she should get on. And I had told her that I'm like, it's a public meeting, so I don't think we can keep anyone from being on, but I think if we asked Katie to come off the meeting, she would. The two candidates we're interviewing this morning are Taylor Felt and Katie Rutten. So depending on Taylor, I think is joining now, and then Katie was going after Taylor. So it's up to, at some point, Kent and I had talked about after their interviews going into an executive session to
Okay.
discuss the interview. Is that what we're going to do, Kent?
Well, and again, it's not really an interview. It's just a presentation.
it's a
and some
presentation,
questions on the
yeah.
presentation. It's not a full interview. I want to say that to the entire board.
Yeah.
It's not a full deal. It's really just a presentation on a special event that they made up, an event that doesn't occur already, provide some details regarding that special event, and then the board can ask questions regarding that special event, but it's not really an interview. So it is slightly different from an interview type deal. I don't know all the HR rules regarding that, but just trying to limit it.
Okay. Well, while we are waiting for the other candidate to get on, she's trying, it sounds like. After the presentations from both of the candidates and the discussion regarding the presentation, if everybody has like 4 minutes. Okay. Hey, Jen. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm multitasking. I thought I forwarded her the link, but she said she didn't get it. The email that she's using is her name, all one word, at yahoo.com, her first and last name.
Okay. Sure, I'll send that to her.
Okay. And I told her to the town website too. If everyone has like 10 minutes at the end of the presentation, I know this was a special meeting. Steve wants to have a brief discussion about some information that was given to him regarding the pedestrian walkway on 6th Street that he wants to talk about. And I didn't know if anyone saw the email I sent out last night about the Rockefeller Center via Georgetown 2.0 idea that was floated by me for tree lighting.
Only if we get an owl in the tree.
I know, right? Did you actually, the Rockefeller Center tree is like peak 2020, by the way, if you haven't seen it. They put it up and it's like so mangy and so sad.
Yeah, I did read that.
They were making a reference to it's a typical COVID tree because it has a bad haircut this
It
year.
has a really bad haircut. Yeah.
But it had a cute owl. There you go.
Kevin
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
We could name it George.
George
Or
the Owl.
Louis.
I like it.
If you have twins, we could do George and Louis.
There you go.
I've got a few questions I've written down towards the end if we want to address those later.
Is it regarding the email I sent?
No, not specifically on that. I've been approached by some of the restaurants as far as allowing open fire pits for people to get warm around if they're going to do outdoor seating. So, but that's in effect because the stage 1 fire ban's still in effect. I wanted to find out when they might lift that regulation.
Kent?
Last I heard, it wasn't until the end of the year that they're going to lift all fire bans. So I
Okay.
don't think it's going to be in the next week or two. They did lower Clear Creek counties from stage 3 to stage 1,
Right. Yeah.
but I don't think unless we get massive snows, they're going to take it off completely. At least that's my information from the fire chief and what I've heard from the sheriff.
So some of the restaurants and businesses want to have like a warming. They would have to stick with the propane, I would guess.
Yes, sir.
Well, I hope they have a propane heater because they are impossible to find. Ask me how I know. Okay. Steve, if you want to, while we're waiting, we could maybe hit that the 6th Street walkway really fast. I think she said let me see what her last thing to me was. She said she's waiting. Do you see her in the waiting room, Jen?
No,
Okay.
I sent her the link.
Well, yeah, let me just bring it up real
Yeah.
fast, and then if
Jump
we
in.
want to discuss after, but Mark Reynolds, who is on, I didn't know we had this, there's a fire commission for town, which he's part of. And he approached me because he knew I was involved with the promotions commission and said that they want to open back up the pedestrian mall to traffic. He listed the reason as being the last snowstorm, because of the time it took to plow and to move gates and everything. Kelly Baby and the fire marshal told him that it would be literally impossible to access building fronts if there was a fire during that event. And then he also mentioned that he spoke to, I believe, Kent, and the extra cost involved with and time it takes to plow snow by moving the gates open and closed to get all the snow removed was also an issue. And so I told him I would bring it up to the commission. Not that we get to decide, but perhaps we want to briefly discuss it and make any further recommendation we might have to Kent and the Board of Selectmen because I think it's a Board of Selectmen call anyway. So that's what we, so if we want to discuss that now or after the presentations, Amanda, you can go ahead and make that call.
Kent, is there any, is it something that is going to be taken up by the Board of Selectmen soon? Do we need to talk about it, or?
Yeah, I was going to bring it up on Tuesday night at the Board of Selectmen meeting to discuss it again. They had made a decision to make it till the end of the year. Now that Christmas market is, even with or without Christmas market, and Christmas market right now is, there won't be any official activities regarding Christmas market. That's what Dr. Ryan said on Tuesday. So that will, we still may have people that come up to Georgetown, obviously, and it may be easier for them that they don't have to wait for the official weekends, but we'll discuss it on Tuesday night at the Board of Selectmen regarding whether to keep the barricades in place or not. We've had several people contact, and the fire department regarding what happened with this last weekend snowstorm was had to different type of response and different discussion with the fire department over the weekend. So it's there's a purpose to it, but there's less people now that we're past leaf season regarding the pedestrian mall, and it does make it more difficult to take care of the plowing of 6th Street and those type of things. So as far from a staff point of view, I think the purpose is we've met the purpose, and the purpose has been completed. I don't view it right now as much of an urgency regarding the barricades in place, but we do what the Board of Selectmen tells us to do, and we'll keep them in place, but we'll bring it up on Tuesday night. So
how might that affect, how might that affect, like say Lucha's food truck?
we would just turn Lucha's food truck around and have them face Library Park. They could still have a special, that's what they're operating right now, basically a temporary use permit to be able to operate at their location.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Jen, oh, sorry, Gary, really quick. I didn't mean to interrupt. Jen, Taylor said she is in, she's calling in because she can't get the meeting to load. So you might see a phone number in the attendees. That's her. She said she can hear. She can hear us. So
I see it. Okay, I see it right now. Here we go.
So we'll digress on
be
this
able to talk now.
conversation.
So yes, you should be able to talk.
Hi.
Hi, Taylor. How are you?
I'm good. I'm sorry that I can't seem to get the video to load. I don't know what's wrong with my computer right now.
No worries. So we're going to turn the floor over to you. You've got the Business Promotions Commission here, and we are excited to hear your presentation. So whenever you're ready, take it away.
Okay, awesome. So my idea, I called it the Georgetown Living Experience. It's going to be like a 2-day event that is going to have guided mountain biking, fly fishing lessons, guided trail hiking, and then outdoor yoga as well. And my idea for all of the locations would be to kind of scatter everyone around. So maybe for the mountain biking, do Silverdale, and fly lessons would be at the lake, because I know that we're all kind of wanting to utilize that space a little bit more and get people around there. And then the trail hiking, you know, you could do Silver Creek Trail. And then for the outdoor yoga, I was thinking the park on 6th Street. And all of these activities would be locally guided and instructed. You know, I was thinking maybe Sarah Street for yoga. You could do Brady for biking. And I forget the lady's name who's, the park is named after Foster's place. I know that she does guided hikes as well. And so we would just be utilizing a lot of the people that are already kind of established and have smaller businesses in town and kind of advertising all of the things that they are doing. And then for food and dining, I had an idea that before and after each event, you will meet with whatever, you know, if you have your biking, everyone will meet at Cabin Creek afterwards. Yoga will meet at Cooper's on the Creek afterwards. Hiking will meet at Alpine. And the benefit of this is obviously continuing to have people in the town for a longer period of time, but also to kind of get some feedback from the people, as this will be like a new event, and kind of do maybe a survey to see, you know, like, is this something that you would be interested in doing again, and just kind of continuing to bond with the people that are like in their groups. And it was my idea to have all of the events meet at like Guanella Pass Brewery or something beforehand, just so that everyone can kind of get acquainted with each other and kind of experience 6th Street a little bit before the events take place. And then as far as lodging is concerned, for the people that are wanting to partake in both days worth of events, you know, I would have an emphasis on advertising the local B&Bs as much as possible, like Horseman House and the Rose Street Bed and Breakfast, but also, you know, giving attention to the new hotel that's around, just as many options as possible, but trying to keep it very locally based. And as far as pricing, I did want, you know, money to be going towards the people that are guiding these events, and then also wanted to make money for future event funding. And I think, you know, it's pretty reasonable as far as what I've kind of been researching, but yoga could be $25 to $30 a person, you know, with, you know, a yoga mat rental if needed. 15 goes to the teacher, 10 for future event funding. Bicycling, you know, $50 for a bike rental if needed, $10 for the guide, $10 for event funding as well. And just same with hiking, $15 for the guide, $10 for event funding. So all of the events, I think, are pretty reasonable as far as pricing is concerned. And then I was also thinking that there would be package options for those who want to stay, you know, the 2 days, and that would include a lodging, dining, and event cost all in one. And then as far as advertising is concerned, a lot of what I would be doing would maybe be putting flyers out and posting throughout the county and surrounding areas, all of Clear Creek County, Evergreen, Golden, Lakewood, posting in outdoor-oriented store studios, such as like REI and Farrell, you know, yoga studios, bike shops, And also posting on, all things Clear Creek County and then the surrounding Facebook pages that are similar to that. And one of my biggest things that I was kind of considering when I was thinking of this event is that I think it's fair to say that as a town, we can't always rely on these singular events per se. Just, for example, COVID has pretty much impacted all of our events, like the Bighorn Sheep, recently, 4th of July, Christmas market isn't being able to happen. And so that being said, I think that we should start to invest some of our focus on, instead of doing once a year events, to events that can happen regularly throughout the changing seasons. Like this outdoor, experiencing Georgetown living thing could go into many of the seasons. And they can also be easily added on to pre-existing events, which I think is really cool. For example, the Christmas market, we could offer, let's say, locally guided snowmobile trips through self-sponsored, or hiking could easily transition into guided snowshoeing, and rentals could be sourced through Loveland. Bike tours could still remain with like fat bike rentals. And I think that it would just be cool to sort of expand on things that are already existing, like Christmas market and things like that, but also start to get into this frame of mind that, maybe we should start to have events that take place over longer periods of time than just investing all of this energy into one thing that, could potentially be canceled. And I think that it has a really great potential for growth in numbers over time. The amount of people that like doing those activities is just endless. In Colorado, people want to experience our mountain towns the way that locals experience them, and having kind of an intimate experience with any person that's guiding or, doing whatever activity you're doing. I think that it could give a really good insight of kind of, the culture, and then also being able to see parts of Georgetown that you maybe wouldn't have been able to see before. And then also, I think focusing on utilizing the resources that we have in the mountains is awesome, just because it's super low budget, and I feel like it does appeal to both locals and tourists, because one of my big goals